My name is Catherine Wright. I'm 30 years old. 7 weeks ago, I sat in my parents' living room while they hosted an emergency family meeting. 28 people filled their house: aunts, uncles, cousins, even my grandmother, who rarely left her assisted living facility. My father stood up, looking grave. "We've called you all here because we're facing a financial crisis. We're 3 months behind on our mortgage. The bank is threatening foreclosure. We need $47,000 immediately, or we lose the house." 28 people gasped. My mother dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. Then my father looked directly at me. "Catherine, you need to return your engagement ring. It's worth at least $50,000. We can sell it, save the house, and you can get a different ring later. Marcus will understand. Family comes first." 28 witnesses heard my parents demand I give up my engagement ring to save their house. But what they didn't know was that my engagement ring wasn't worth $50,000. It was a vintage 1940s platinum and diamond ring worth approximately $175,000. And what they really didn't know was that the jeweler who'd appraised it, Edward Castellano, had been my late grandmother Rose's closest friend for 60 years, and the ring had belonged to Rose's mother, my great-grandmother, who'd given it to me before she died, with explicit instructions that it never be sold and never go to my parents. Before I tell you what happened when I took my parents to Castellano & Sons jewelers and Edward revealed the truth about the ring's provenance and value, please like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy this story. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from and what time is it? I'd love to hear from you. Now, let me take you back to where this really began. Growing up in Boston, I learned early that my younger sister Lauren was the princess and I was the servant. My family consisted of my father, who ran a small construction company, my mother, who worked part-time as a bookkeeper, my younger sister Lauren, who was beautiful and fragile, and me, the daughter who existed to make Lauren's life easier. Lauren brought home drama. I brought home responsibility. When I was 14, I won a state mathematics competition. First place out of 800 students. The prize was $5,000 and automatic admission to a prestigious summer program at MIT. I showed my parents the acceptance letter, already dreaming about advanced calculus and college-level courses. My father barely looked up from his newspaper. "That's nice, Catherine. Can you drive Lauren to dance practice? She has an important recital coming up." That same week, Lauren got cast as a background dancer in a local theater production. One of 30 dancers. A non-speaking role. My parents threw a celebration dinner, invited 40 people, spent 3 hours showing everyone photos from Lauren's costume fitting. I told myself it was fine. Theater was more exciting than math competitions. At 18, I got accepted to MIT with a full academic scholarship to study engineering. I wanted to design sustainable infrastructure, to solve real problems, to build things that would last. My parents came to my high school graduation but left immediately after. Lauren was having a crisis. Her boyfriend had broken up with her. They gave me a card with $50 inside. For college supplies. 2 years earlier, when Lauren graduated high school with a 2.7 GPA and got into a state school, they'd bought her a $30,000 car and threw her a graduation party that cost $12,000. I told myself it was different. I had a scholarship. I didn't need as much support. During college, my great-grandmother Eleanor became ill. She was 94, living in a nursing home, fading. My parents rarely visited, too busy, they said. But I visited every week, took the tea to her facility, sat with her, held her hand, listened to her stories about growing up in the 1930s, about meeting my great-grandfather, about surviving the Depression. 3 months before she died, Eleanor took off a ring she always wore. Platinum band with a stunning emerald-cut diamond, surrounded by smaller diamonds in an Art Deco setting. "This was my mother's," she said, pressing it into my hand. "Given to her in 1920 by my father. She gave it to me when I married in 1946. Now I'm giving it to you, Catherine." "Grandma Eleanor, this is too much. Listen to me carefully." Her grip was surprisingly strong. This ring stays with you. Not your parents, not Lauren, you. When you marry, you wear it. If you don't marry, you keep it anyway. But you never sell it and you never let your parents have it. Do you understand? Why? Because I know your parents. I know how they favor Lauren. This ring is worth more than they realize, and they'd sell it in a heartbeat to fund some nonsense for your sister. But it's yours. Your inheritance. Promise me. I promise. She made me put it on right then. It fit my ring finger perfectly. Eleanor died 2 weeks later. At her funeral, my mother noticed the ring. Is that Eleanor's ring? The one she always wore? She gave it to me before she died. My mother's face went tight. That ring should go to me. I'm her granddaughter. You're only her great-granddaughter. She wanted me to have it. We'll discuss this later, but I kept the ring. Wore it on a chain around my neck, hidden under my clothes, protecting it. After MIT, I got a job at a top engineering firm in Boston. Started making $95,000 a year. Bought my own small condo in Cambridge. Meanwhile, Lauren dropped out of college after 3 semesters. Decided she wanted to find herself. My parents supported her completely, paid her rent, her food, her lifestyle. Approximately $3,000 a month. Lauren is creative, my mother would say. She needs time to discover her passion. Lauren was 25 years old, living off our parents, taking yoga teacher training courses and posting on Instagram. Every family gathering was the same. Hours of discussion about Lauren's latest interest. 5 minutes of polite questions about my engineering projects that no one understood or cared about. Then, 2 years ago, I met Marcus. He was a pediatric surgeon at Mass General, brilliant and kind and genuinely interested in my work. We fell in love. When Marcus proposed, he wanted to buy me a ring, something expensive and perfect. I already have a ring, I told him. I pulled out the one Eleanor gave me. My great-grandmother left this to me. If you're okay with it, I'd like this to be my engagement ring. Marcus held it to the light. Catherine, this is stunning. But shouldn't we get it appraised? It looks valuable. Probably should. We took it to Castellano & Sons, a prestigious jewelry shop in the North End that had been there since 1952. The owner, Edward Castellano, was in his late 70s, a master jeweler who'd apprenticed with his father. Edward took one look at the ring and went completely still. Where did you get this? My great-grandmother gave it to me before she died. Eleanor Marino. Edward's eyes filled with tears. Eleanor gave this to you? Rose's mother? You knew my grandmother Rose? Rose was my dearest friend for 60 years. We grew up on the same street in the North End. I was at her wedding. I made her wedding ring. He held my ring carefully. And this was her mother Eleanor's ring, the one Eleanor's mother received in 1920. He examined it under magnification, checked the platinum hallmarks, measured the center stone. Catherine, this is a 3.5-carat emerald-cut diamond, D-color, VS1 clarity. Platinum Art Deco setting with another carat of accent diamonds. This ring is worth approximately $175,000, possibly more to the right collector. Marcus and I stared at each other. Your great-grandmother was very wise to give this to you, Edward continued. I remember Rose telling me about your family dynamics, how your parents favored your sister. Eleanor specifically told me 5 years ago, when I did some repair work on this ring, that it was going to you, not to your parents. She made me promise that if anyone else tried to sell it, I'd contact you immediately. He pulled out a small card. Eleanor gave me your phone number and email. She said, when Catherine brings this ring to you, and she will because she'll do the right thing, you help her. And if anyone else tries to sell it, you call her first. I started crying. She protected me even after death. Edward smiled. Eleanor loved you very much, and Rose would be so happy you're wearing this ring. I wore Eleanor's ring as my engagement ring. Marcus and I set a wedding date for next summer. Everything was perfect. Until 3 weeks ago, my parents called requesting an emergency family meeting. When I arrived at their house, 28 people were already there. My father made his announcement about the mortgage crisis. 3 months behind. $47,000 needed immediately. Foreclosure imminent. Then he looked at me. "Catherine, you need to return your engagement ring." "What?" "We know it's valuable. It was Eleanor's. We can sell it, save the house, get you a different ring later." "I'm not selling Eleanor's ring." My mother's voice got sharp. "Catherine, we're about to lose our house, your childhood home. Don't be selfish." "How did you get 3 months behind on your mortgage?" My father looked uncomfortable. "Business has been slow. Expenses have been high. Lauren needed help with—" "How much have you given Lauren in the past 3 months?" Silence. My Uncle Tom spoke up. "Wait, what does Lauren have to do with this?" "Lauren needed help," my mother said defensively. "She's starting a wellness coaching business. She needed capital for her website, her certification, equipment." "How much?" I repeated. $38,000, my father admitted quietly. The room erupted. "You gave Lauren $38,000 while skipping mortgage payments?" Aunt Maria was incredulous. "She's investing in her future." "She's 28 years old and has never held a job for more than 6 months, I said. "You gave her almost enough to cover your mortgage crisis, and now you want me to sell my engagement ring, the ring my great-grandmother specifically left to me, to fix your irresponsibility?" "It's just a ring, Catherine," my mother said. "It can be replaced, our house can't." "Eleanor specifically told me never to sell this ring, never to let you have it." My father's face went red. "That ring belongs to this family. Your great-grandmother should have left it to me, not you. We need it now." "No, then you're selfish and cruel. We'll lose everything because you care more about a piece of jewelry than your own family." Grandma Rose, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. "How much is the ring actually worth?" "We had it appraised at maybe $50,000, my mother said quickly. "Where?" "A jeweler downtown. He said it was a nice vintage piece, but nothing extraordinary." Grandma Rose looked at me. "Catherine, where did you have it appraised?" "Castellano and Sons, Edward Castellano." Rose smiled. "What did Edward say it was worth?" Everyone waited. $175,000, I said quietly. "Possibly more." My mother's glass of wine crashed to the floor. "Edward Castellano appraised Eleanor's ring at $175,000? Rose was smiling now, that knowing smile that said she'd expected this. "Yes, he said it's a 3.5-carat emerald-cut diamond, D-color, VS1 clarity, Art Deco platinum setting. He also said Eleanor specifically told him 5 years ago that the ring was going to me, not my parents, and if anyone else tried to sell it, he should contact me immediately." My father tried to recover. "All the more reason we need it now. That much money could save our house and—" "No," Rose interrupted. "Eleanor's will was very specific. That ring goes to Catherine, not to you, not to fix your financial irresponsibility." "Mother, we're about to lose our house." "Because you gave $38,000 to Lauren for another failed business idea instead of paying your mortgage. That's not Catherine's problem to solve." My Aunt Maria stood up. "Let me get this straight. You skipped 3 mortgage payments to fund Lauren's wellness coaching business, which will fail like all her other ventures. And now you want Catherine to sell a $175,000 family heirloom to bail you out." "It's not fair that Catherine got the ring," my mother shouted. "I'm Eleanor's granddaughter. It should have been mine." "Eleanor gave it to Catherine because she knew you'd sell it," Rose said calmly. "Just like you're trying to make her do now." She turned to me. "Catherine, your great-grandmother and I talked about this many times before she died. She knew your parents favored Lauren. She knew they'd pressure you for money. That's why she left you the ring, as protection, as your inheritance. She made me promise to back you up if they ever tried to take it." "We're her family too," my father protested. And you've gotten plenty, Rose said sharply. Eleanor left you $50,000 in her will. You spent it on a boat that you sold 2 years later at a loss. She left you her house, which you sold for $340,000 and spent on renovations, Lauren's tuition, and that boat. You've had your inheritance. The ring is Catherine's. She stood up, surprisingly spry for her age. Now, I think we should all visit Edward Castellano. Let him explain the ring's history and value. Let's make this official. The next day, Rose, my parents, and I met at Castellano & Sons. Edward was waiting for us. Rose! He hugged my grandmother warmly. It's been too long. Edward, Catherine's parents are pressuring her to sell Eleanor's ring. I thought you should explain its history. Edward's warm demeanor vanished. He looked at my parents with cold disapproval. The ring Catherine is wearing belonged to Eleanor's mother, Sophia Marino. It was purchased in 1920 by Sophia's husband, a successful import business owner, for $3,000, which was an enormous sum then. That's equivalent to about $45,000 today, but the ring itself has appreciated far more. He pulled out documentation. This is a museum-quality Art Deco piece. The center stone alone, 3.5 carats, D-color, VS1 clarity, is worth $120,000. The platinum setting and accent diamonds add another $55,000. Conservative current value, $175,000. At auction with the right provenance, possibly $250,000. My parents looked stunned. Eleanor brought this ring to me 5 years ago, Edward continued. She had me clean it, check the setting, document its history. She told me she was leaving it to Catherine. She made me promise that if anyone, specifically mentioning you, Mr. and Mrs. Wright, tried to sell it, I would refuse to facilitate the sale and would contact Catherine immediately. He pulled out a letter. This is from Eleanor, written 4 years ago, notarized. It explicitly states that this ring belongs to Catherine and should never be sold to pay debts or fund family expenses. My father tried one more time. But we're about to lose our house. You gave $38,000 to your other daughter instead of paying your mortgage, Edward said bluntly. That's not Catherine's problem, and this ring is legally hers. Eleanor was very clear. He looked at me. Catherine, if they pressure you further, you call me. I have lawyers who specialize in inheritance disputes. We'll protect Eleanor's wishes. My mother started crying. This isn't fair. We're family. Family helps family. Family doesn't demand you sell priceless heirlooms to fix problems they created, Rose said. You chose to fund Lauren's failing business instead of paying your bills. Now you face consequences. We left the jewelry shop. My parents stopped speaking to me. 2 weeks later, they sent an email. They'd taken out a second mortgage to cover the missed payments. They were deeply disappointed in my selfishness. They'd decided I was no longer welcome at family gatherings until I made this right. Rose called me that evening. Good. You don't need their toxic nonsense. Come have dinner with me instead. At dinner, she told me stories about Eleanor. Your great-grandmother escaped an abusive family in Italy, came to America alone at 17, married a good man, built a life. That ring represents her strength, her survival, her triumph. She gave it to you because she saw that same strength in you. Why didn't she give it to you? She tried. I told her to give it to you instead. I have my own jewelry. You needed protection from your parents more than I needed another ring. Last week, my parents announced they were selling their house anyway, downsizing to something smaller. They sent an email blaming me. If I'd just sold the ring, they could have kept their house. But my Uncle Tom did some research. He discovered they'd refinanced their house 4 times in 10 years. They'd pulled out $180,000 in equity, most of which went to Lauren's various failed business ventures. They weren't in crisis because of bad luck, Tom told me. They were in crisis because they've been funding Lauren's lifestyle for a decade. This is a pattern. The ring is still on my finger. Marcus and I are getting married next summer. Edward is designing our wedding bands to complement the Art Deco style of my engagement ring. And I'm building a relationship with Rose that I never had with my parents. Every Sunday I visit her. We cook together, look at old photos, talk about Eleanor and Sophia and the strong women in our family. "You're part of a legacy," Rose told me last week. "Strong women who survived, who protected each other, who didn't let anyone take what was theirs. Eleanor would be so proud of you." People ask if I'll reconcile with my parents, if family isn't worth preserving. Thank you for reading my story. If it resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Have you ever had family demand you give up something precious? How did you set boundaries? I'd love to hear from you. Protect what's yours, honor the people who protected you, and never let guilt make you sacrifice your security for people who wouldn't do the same for you. Eleanor gave me more than a ring. She gave me permission to value myself. And that's worth far more than $175,000.